All right.
So, death taxes. When you grow up, you become successful entrepreneurs, starting your own business or farm or ranch, and you work really hard your whole life to provide for your family until the day that you die. On that day, you will want to hand down your inheritance to your children, to your successors, so that they can pick up where you left off. But instead, because you were successful, and because you are somewhat upper class now, the government has decided that it gets to take 20 to 30% of your estate. And that debt is left on your children. It's nicknamed the death tax, and it's properly called the estate tax. And so I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and define what the estate tax actually is. The IRS defines the estate tax as a tax on your right to transfer property at your death. Basically, when you die, the government gets some of your stuff. Today, according to the Associated Press, the rate of the estate tax is 35%, exempting the first $5 million. Now, for example, if I have an estate worth $7 million, when I die, after the $5 million exemption, there's $2 million left over in taxable money. So, when I die, my children have to pay 35% of that $2 million, which is $700,000. And you may say that $5 million is a huge exemption and only affects a fraction of Americans. And you're right. However, the death tax changes every year. And according to Yuki Noguchi, writer for the National Public Radio, says that originally this year in 2011, the estate tax was at a rate of 60%, with an exemption rate of only $1 million. So, with the tax set, or how President Obama originally had it this year, with that same $7 million estate, my children would have had to pay $3,600,000. So, luckily, there was a compromise with Republican leaders, and the estate tax is much more feasible now. But this shows that it's very flexible, and we're skating on thin ice. Today, I will discuss the problems, propose that we actually eliminate the death tax completely, and try to give some vision of the positive effects of eliminating the tax will bring about. So, we'll begin addressing the actual problems of the estate tax. There are two main issues. The very large tax keeps businesses from thriving. That's number one. Number two is taking money from the wealthy class with the intent of spreading it out to the poor. It's robbery. So, problem number one, the tax really affects small businesses. That according to Derek Liebert, writer for the America.gov website, make up 15% of today's economy. The more small businesses are taxed, the harder it is to expand and produce more job opportunities, which is the focus of a lot of government policies anyway. So, the estate tax holds back job production and trips up 15% of the economy at the same time. The next issue, the issue of robbery, is about right and wrong. The intent of the estate tax is to take the money from the wealthy and spread it out over the poor to create a more balanced society. It's called socialism. So, for example, if someone within the boundaries of law receives or earns something, it's illegal to take it from him just because he has more of it than someone else. And we only apply this idea to money. We never think about anything else. For example, family. No one ever balances families. If there's a dysfunctional home, more dysfunctional than another, no one says, we're going to take a father from this family, and we're going to have him marry a single mom in a broken home. There's nothing right or logical about that. So with this problem in mind, we have to come up with a solution. Ultimately, the solution is the estate tax has to go. Of course, this is not as simple as it sounds, and it may take many years and many elections to achieve. However, it all starts right here. How we think about these topics determines how we vote, and our voting will determine the continuation or cancellation of these government policies. We must begin to open our minds to consider that just because the media tells us it's okay to steal from wealthy to give to poor doesn't mean that it necessarily is okay. My hope is that after hearing this possibly fresh perspective, you all might deeply consider how you regard the estate tax. Just imagine how eliminating the death tax will benefit the lives of all Americans. Everyone benefits. Every business, from Walmart and Microsoft to Betty Rose's Barbecue, has the freedom to focus all efforts and income on the success of business. The result is more sales, more income, more job creation, which, like I said, is the focus of many government policies in the first place, taking away the estate taxes will produce more jobs, especially for the lower class, which the government pretends to be so concerned about. If the estate tax is done away with, we can boost the economy. We can create jobs while we allow and encourage forward progress, instead of the government trying to create jobs on its own and inhibiting forward progress by taking 35% of every business every time it's changed hands. Everyone benefits, but of course not everyone agrees with this. Argument for keeping the estate tax is that people inheriting the wealth didn't do anything to earn it. They don't really deserve it, so it's okay to take it from them. It wasn't theirs in the first place. First off, that's not entirely true. According to an article titled Family-Owned Businesses by referenceforbusiness.com, many of the children or other possible heirs contribute greatly to the businesses before they're ever in charge of it, before the business is ever under their command. And any sacrifice that is necessary for a developing business, that sacrifice is paid by the whole family. The children pay the price too. Secondly, even though there are some people, some heirs, that don't deserve a lick of the inheritance, it's not a justification to steal it from them. Picture this last scenario with me. Tomorrow morning, America is invaded by Mexico. Mexico has decided that America has more money than they do, so they're going to balance out the wealth, because it's fair. They say, you Americans had no decision in being born American. You don't deserve it. You're just inheriting something. And most of you only a few of you had to work to get here. It's only fair that we take some of what you have to make it more equal. America wouldn't stand for this. That's the end of the story. In this scenario, Mexico would be right in saying that we don't deserve what we have. It's true. But their reasons for invasion would be out of the question. It is out of our control to be born in America, to have the opportunities that we have, rich and poor. But no one has the right to dictate what we do with the opportunities that are given to us. So we must begin to consider what the estate tax represents. And through a thorough understanding, that's what we need to use to make our political decisions. Nothing less than a thorough understanding.